at it again. Another run of 4th and 5. I'm DJ Williams here with Josh Throne. And man, Josh, here we go. Fan base was ready to just clean house after BYU. Then I said you somewhat have like a moral victory against LSU. It seems like they were fighting hard. Seems like things somewhat got back on track. And then A&M happened. And it seems like the wheels fell off again. What do you think?
Man, I thought as we were going into the Texas A&M game, we talked about this. Bobby Petrino was going to come ready no matter the fact that there was a backup quarterback. That quarterback that he had that came in as a backup was a starter at LSU and went down to the Florida Gators, ranked number 6, and beat them in the swamp. So it's not like Texas A&M is dealing with scrubs there at that university. They got tons of athletes, and if Petrino has athletes, he can bring his A game. So I think we kind of got what we expected and what we talked about. I mean, we're all hoping that Arkansas comes out and plays a surprising game and gave us something, different than BYU. We were hoping more of the version of themselves that they presented against LSU, but we didn't get that. So here we are, another loss, 3 losses in a row. And, the state of the program is kind of a big question mark again. It seems like every time we have this podcast, we end up in this issue.
Well, the thing is – maybe we need to stop having the podcast. Is that what it is? No, we can't do that. We got to keep it real. But you talked about, after LSU, we thought, yay. I think that's what we have finally figured out about this team. Because pregame show, Josh, I picked Arkansas to win based off simply what I saw them do against LSU and what I've seen on tape from Texas A&M. But now we have seen that this team's identity at the moment is just inconsistent. You have an inconsistent football team where you don't know which one's going to show up. So obviously when it comes down to inconsistency in a program, it's hard not to point at coaching. I mean, that's been the biggest talk all week long is it time to move on from the offensive coordinator? What's going on with Sam Pittman? And we're not the type to stir any type of pot, but we call it like it is, and not trying to offend anyone. It's just the truth in this business of college football. I mean, your resume is on the football field, and when you have performances like that, reporters can say what they want to see or say, fans can say what they want to say, but Josh, you don't think these coaches see that and they're thinking, I'm going to lose my job if I don't get this stuff together? So it's just what they know too. Sometimes it's just hard hearing it from the outside. When these coaches are dealing with a lot of stressful situations. But that being said, Josh, thoughts on coaching? Where are you at?
They know what's going on with the program. They know what's at stake with their jobs. They know that they're not in the SEC getting paid $6 million a $6 million contract to lose like this. They understand that. And you got to think about Dan Enos being brought in. And here's a little bit of something that I learned last year when Dan Enos was being brought in. Is there was a lot of talk about KJ staying or going, Kendall Browse leaving to TCU, and how that was going to affect KJ's overall decision-making on, what he was going to do with his career. And, people could have made the argument, hey, you're healthy, you haven't got hurt, you just put on a pretty good season. Why don't you just go ahead and, give the NFL a run? And when you're a player and you're young, and you're thinking like, oh, you know what? This is my time. Like, I can do it. So you've kind of got to figure out, how do I convince KJ that he needs to stay another year? Well, the plan is you go out and get a Dan Enos who's put other quarterbacks that are less talented than KJ in the NFL. And he's groomed guys over in Alabama. He's working with Tua Tagovailoa's little brother at the University of Maryland. And so he's coming in with this resume and he says, hey, I've got a pro-style offense. You're going to walk into the NFL already knowing how to run NFL offenses. And here's what I've done, right? So he talks KJ in the stand. Well, now you're looking at it like, is KJ a pro-style quarterback? Is that the issue? Is it Dan Enos and his offense is just he's not a good play caller? Is it the offensive line and the lack of coaching that's going on there? There's a lot of question marks. I honestly think this, though. I think KJ Jefferson is a Tim Tebow style quarterback. He may actually have a better arm than Tim Tebow. Everybody said his throwing motion wasn't that good. But KJ, I think, has got a decent arm and a decent throwing motion. But I think they're just the same style of quarterback, where if you take away their running game and their running threat, they're really not an NFL type of quarterback. They rely on that to be great. That's what makes them great. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that that's kind of where we're at with me analyzing KJ so far this season in this offense. But at the same time, offensive line doesn't give a quarterback a chance to throw the ball. You've got issues there too.
Hey, you pointed out a lot of things, and I'm there with you with KJ. Am I surprised if he gets drafted? Yes. No knock on KJ. It's just that style of play and offense that we really haven't seen yet. So reliable with his feet. There's only been one quarterback in the last since Michael Vick almost, and that's Lamar Jackson. And he's a different dude, different kind of speed that's been able to use his legs as much as his arm. And KJ's obviously is not as quick and fast as Lamar Jackson. So his draft stock will be interesting. With his name will be called. Will you get asked to move somewhere else and maybe play tight end? Who knows? But all those things being said, Josh, a lot of people just want to know what is happening. What's going on in the field? Is it Dan Enos? Is it Sam Pittman? Is it the caliber of players? Well, you know what I like to do, Josh? And when all these questions happen, all you got to do is watch the tape. And I'm going to show you a few plays right here. It's going to look bad. And after I kind of tell you and explain what's going on, we'll talk about it afterwards. But I'm going to show you about 4 plays. So let me go ahead and pull this up so y'all can also take a look at what's going on right here. And I'm going to start with this play right here. It's fourth quarter, and I want to take a look at the left tackle right here. So technique is really big when it comes to offensive line play, and it's all about footwork. You have to start with great footwork, and you can see right here as I press play, the left tackle, his first step is backwards. That's a no-no. You're over here trying to zone block to the left, and you're already taking a step backwards. You're putting yourself in a horrible situation to get any kind of movement. The left guard is somewhat doing the same thing, just not as bad. But once again, once you get here with the left tackle, focus on, again, as I press pause, look at that stance right there. His head, his shoulders and head is over his legs. He doesn't have any bend in his hip. That's just bad position. You know what that is set up for? When I press play, take a look at this. Easy for that defensive lineman to use his momentum and poor technique against him. Just throw him completely out of the way. And it started with bad footwork right there and a tackle for a loss. Now, I hate to keep playing this over and over again, but it's just important for people to see what is happening. When you talk about why isn't the running backs, it's the offensive line. Let me go ahead and that being said, Josh, when you see stuff like that, it seems so embarrassing. But when I look at it, I think it's an easy fix, and it should be happening every day in practice. But before we kind of get on to that, let me show you another play that's going to make you go, oh, that's rough and tough to look at. Yeah, I got more. And this isn't trying to bash anybody. I'm just trying to show y'all what's going on with our problems. Another play right here, fourth quarter again. I believe this may have been the very next play. I could be wrong. But look at your right tackle, number 75. So a lot of right tackles, you're supposed to kick step. Keep your shoulders square to the line of scrimmage and wait till the defensive lineman comes to you to make it harder for him to have that angle to get to the quarterback. But he turns sideways, open up his shoulders, and look at his feet. He's shuffling those together. That is bad. See that right there? Bad news. Feet are literally together. That's a recipe for disaster. He opens up his shoulders. It's so easy to get by him. KJ ends up taking a sack. Now, as we said, we're going to talk to Mitchell Bailey a little bit later about protection from the running back. Take a look at this right here. These offensive linemen are responsible for these defensive linemen. The right tackle, you can't really see him in the screen. But as those guys work this stunt, you can see it's picked up, right? 92 is picked up by the right guard. Center's got his guy. That's awesome. Look at the running back.
Yep.
He's responsible from 21. If 21 doesn't rush, then he can scan for help. 21 shows no indication that he's bailing in coverage, takes a step forward, but DeBinion doesn't even take a look at him. He goes to block somebody that's already blocked, doesn't block his responsibility. Now KJ has nowhere to step up in the pocket. A man completely unblocked. Once again, offensive linemen, running backs, they all play a huge role in the pass protection. Tight ends play a huge role in the pass protection. And sometimes, Josh, it just doesn't look like they know what they're doing. It blows my mind. Like, I would love to sit in a meeting room and be like, depending on this player right here, explain this to me. I need to hear you say it, because until you can tell me what you think you're doing, I don't know how to coach you. All right. I'm not trying to pick on you, make fun of you,
Right.
but we have to get this figured out. You have to have those hard conversations. And until you can understand and you tell me and convince me you understand that's your guy in protection, we can't move on. Just keep on. That's how it was when we were there with Petrino. We weren't allowed to step on the field or get in the huddle if we didn't know who we were supposed to block and protect Ryan Mallett. I'll tell you that. All right, Josh, I got more. You want to see some more?
Yeah. I want to see some more. I can't believe you. I love what you have prepared for today.
I talked about tight ends being responsible in the game as well. Take a look at this one right here. Now, Luke Hawes, I'm a big fan of him. Unfortunately, going to be out
Luke.
most likely for the remainder of the season with a broken collarbone.
Right.
Backup came in, and yes, this is a big ask for a tight end to block an SEC defensive end, but it's doable. Once again, the technique, horrible. It's just poor technique. You're not kick sliding at all. You're not moving backwards at all. You're lunging forward and really easy to get by. Okay, and I get you're a tight end. I'm still not going to give that as an excuse. Get the block. All right, get in his way.
Right.
Now, what could help him? This one I'm going to pick on KJ a little bit because I've started to see a little decline in KJ's play. You talked about Dan Enos bringing more of a NFL-style offense. And I think KJ's trying to do it. He's just struggling with it. I'm going to tell you what an NFL-style offense is. Let me go to the widescreen. So you can see right now it's cover one. It looks like cover one, at least. The safety's high. But as soon as the ball snaps, you see the corner belling. Safety standing in the middle of the field. They're going to like a deep cover 3 type situation. This linebacker right here is going to go out to the flat. And so we have a tight end going to the flat. We have a receiver out wide running that corner off that's in that cover 3 look. And Tesla right here is going to come wide open as he runs a corner route. See, that's perfect play call. So we talk about play calls. Dan Enos, this is the perfect play call. What's the execution like? Why did we get a sack? A lot of people are going to put it on the tight end. I'm not going to do that because as I go right here, when you see Tesla plant this foot right here, that ball needs to already be in the air. That's the difference between decent quarterbacks and great quarterbacks. KJ's at a spot right now, Josh, where he needs to see it develop first before he trusts it to throw it, instead of trusting his read, knowing how it's going to develop, and throw the ball before he runs out of time to throw it. That's the difference of where it's his biggest struggle right now.
Right.
Because right here in this look, when that safety bails and stays middle of the field, and that he knows that corner's in the flat, he should know for a fact that's going to be open, but he wants to see it first. You ain't got the time in the SEC to do that because if we go back to this angle right here, Josh, take a look at this. He takes the snap. He takes his 2-step drop. As soon as he plants right there, the ball should be out. As soon as that plant, he should go ahead and get ready to throw. But instead, he takes 1 hitch. He takes 2 hitches to swivel his hips. It's already too late. And like I said, that's
by the time Tesla gets out of his route, that ball should be in the air.
Ball should be out. And if he wants to play at the next level, that's all the time you're going to have if you're lucky, and the windows are that close. And that's what Enos called up. The play was there. Just poor execution about getting that ball out. KJ should have known what was going to happen before it got there. I got well, go ahead.
You got another play for us? Is that what you said?
You want to see another one?
I was just gonna say that when they go into playing a team like Texas A&M and they know the type of edge rushers that these guys have, they know the type of linebackers that they have. You've got to be able to prep all week. Hey, we don't have time. We already know our offensive line is not producing at the level they should produce and play every single Saturday. So we know we need to get the ball out. That should have been a no-brainer. I mean, especially this week, especially knowing what we've been going through. Dan Enos should be getting the ball. I mean, he should be coaching these guys to get the ball out. So if you're saying, it's either a coaching issue or the players just aren't taking the coach.
Yeah, and oh man, what happened to my background? Hold on, we got to get that. Gotta make sure we. There we go. Yeah, you got to make sure we keep that 4th and 5 low. Hey, speaking of that, we got some merch on the way, y'all. We're gonna have your 4th and 5 merch. We got some giveaways coming up. We've actually, you see, we got these pig hats. I got one hat, Josh, that I may give away. It's a red, white, and blue one. It looks super cool. You got your pig hat.
Yeah,
hopefully they're watching this. If they want to be a part of 4th and 5 and be one of our weekly giveaway sponsors, maybe we can make that happen. That's a shameless plug. See if we can make it happen. But let's go ahead and finish this last play. You want to see this last play?
Let me take a look at it.
This is going to be hold on, let me get to it. Yeah. We're going to take a look at the left tackle again. And once again, I say left tackle, left guard, running back, quarterback. I'm looking at everybody. Offensive line coach, Sam Pittman. You have the plate right here where guys don't know who they're supposed to block. And it's hard for me to wrap my mind around this. I'm so far removed from this game, and I understand. They got a 3 down front. That's what Texas A&M is running right here. And a lot of people say that guy on the line is a defensive end. That's a corner. This is where it's important to know your personnel. Because when defenses try to confuse you, they have guys all over the spot. But if you know who they are in the position, they're going to stay true most of the time to the position. So no doubt you don't count this guy in your blocking scheme. Instead, you count this guy that's going to be almost like a linebacker. You see him coming to your screen right here over Tesla. That's who the left tackle and the left guard need to work up to. So they're going to double team this defensive end up to this linebacker in the zone block. But as I go ahead and press play, you can see your left tackle. Once again, look at the footwork. Poor footwork. Steps backwards first. He double teams and pushes up to the wrong linebacker. Leaves his responsibility completely unblocked. I mean, what is the running back supposed to do here? What is he supposed to do here? I mean, he can't do anything. And so when y'all think about those situations, like, why not on 4th and 1? They just don't line up under center and let KJ 250-pound self get the first down. It's because they're not getting any push up front. People don't know who to block.
Right.
And so the shotgun aspect, too, I mean, it's the same thing. You're banking on letting things open up. But when you have offensive linemen that can't get pushed and are inconsistent, for the most time, you may try to run to the A-gap, and they may be not blocking to open it up in the first place. It's just so many things wrong when it comes to offensive line, pass protection, getting the ball out. I hate putting coaches in the hot seat, but I can't help it when they put themselves in the hot seat, Josh. It is what it is.
I understand that, it's year 4. And so, here's the one thing you expect to see at year 4. And I've said it on a previous episode of ours. Sam Pittman's one of the best. He was known as one of the best offensive line coaches in the country. And it's year 4. And you've been able to recruit your own guys, and you've been able to coach this line up, and you've been able to get them to what a year 4 offensive line should look like under one of the best offensive line coaches in the country. So this ain't it. And he knows it's not it. And there's got to be something that happens, in my personal opinion, this season. And I'm not saying Hunter Yurchek needs to come down from upstairs and let go of Sam Pittman the way that we let go of Chad Morris. But what I'm saying is that Sam Pittman has to make a decision, just like he did to bring Dan Enos in when he thought Dan Enos was going to be a good fit for KJ in the current team that he has right now, because he knows this team is a talented team. We've got receivers that are big. We have an offensive line that should be a year 4 Sam Pittman offensive line. We've got a defense that's actually one of the bright spots for our team this year. Yeah. We've got a running back that's supposed to be one of the best in the SEC if he can get healthy. And we've got a quarterback that was a preseason All-SEC quarterback. So This was the year. This was it. And Dan Enos was brought in to make this team better, not worse. And so I'm just telling you, if I'm Sam Pittman and I'm in the middle of this season playing out right now, I've got a couple more games to come out with a win. I better upset Ole Miss, because I'm definitely not going to beat Alabama.
Well, you say that.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
I gotta upset Ole Miss. I gotta pull off a Mississippi State. But if I go Ole Miss with an L, Alabama with an L, and then I go to Mississippi State and I put up another L, there's going to have to be an offensive coordinator that goes midseason packing. And we're going to have somebody else on the plate that we said, hey, listen, here's a big check, and here's why you need to come coach with us on Saturday. And we better have a good guy, somebody who can come in and play to this team's strengths, whatever that is. He better be able to figure it out, because it is coaching. That's what it is, because the talent's there. The talent is there, and it's been there. And this was supposed to be a big year for us. They know it. It's not rocket science. They just don't like hearing the media talk about it.
No, they don't. And like you said, they're in no world at this level should you be a scholarship player on the field as a starter and not know what to do. There's just no excuse for that. And so, like you said, it's just what is happening in that meeting room, Josh? What's happening at practice? I go back to when Bobby Petrino was the coach. As much as he yelled at the players, he was on the coaches 10 times worse. I mean, it was night and day. And our coaches used to be so stressed and so angry if we messed up at practice in a walkthrough. You know, if we did anything wrong, they were at us because they knew if we messed up, it was a reflection of not us not knowing what to do, but just of them being a poor coach to us. And they knew Petrino was just like, if you can't get it across to your players, I'm going to find someone else that will. And that's just the name of the business. And I don't know if Coach Pittman is going to go to Enos or his offensive line coach. I say that. He's been in this industry a long time, and he's with Kirby Smart. And Kirby Smart don't play. And is been having those conversations with this O-line coach like, I'm looking at the tape. I'm letting you do your thing. I'm trusting you as a coach. But if this doesn't get fixed soon, I'm going to find someone else to make sure it gets fixed. And I like our offensive line coach. And like I said, we're not saying anything or having conversations that these coaches are not having themselves. They know this type of business. They know this line of work. They know it's performance-based. And when you're not performing, things change. And they know this. They've been around the game too long.
You know, one of the craziest things I think I've ever experienced was 2008, 2009, being at practice. And Willie Robinson was struggling. He was struggling that whole week. And we're not talking about a game. Now, the defense at that time under Willie Robinson wasn't the best defense that Arkansas has ever seen or anything like that. But we're not talking about a game that really happened. And we're talking about 2008, 2009. We didn't have a big bowl game online or anything like that. This is just Petrino's nature. We were beating the defense in practice. And we had Ryan Mallett as our scout team quarterback. It wasn't
nice.
Hard, right?
Yeah.
You know,
he'll
put the ball right where it needs to be. You know,
so we're just team.
Right. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, that scout team was stacked. We had Reggie Fish that year, redshirted. We had John Aaron Reese, who played receiver as a scholarship player. We had Rod Coleman, who was a good scholarship receiver too. We had Storm and Andrew Norman out there.
Andrew Norman.
Andrew Norman at receiver as well. He had just transferred back in from Tulsa, and we had Ryan Mallett at quarterback. So it just, and might I say, we had Josh Throne on scout team too.
Don't forget about Josh Throne out there.
I ain't gonna let you, even if you wanted to. So we diced them up.
Nickname, they called you Turbo.
Turbo.
Yeah, Turbo.
So Willie Robinson is getting worked that week in practice. Bobby Petrino stops what he's doing over there with the offense because he was typically with the offense. He walks over to the practice field, and in front of everyone, he curses Willie Robinson up and down and threatens his job. His job and says, if you can't get it done, Willie, do I need to find someone who can? And that was a normal practice. I remember a time when Garrett McGee was the quarterback's coach. He's up there doing his job, actually. And our quarterback's pretty good. He's
Ryan
just
Mallett,
walking backwards.
Tyler Wilson. Yeah.
He's walking backwards just to get out of the way of the play because he'd been up there yelling at somebody about something. He's getting backwards, trying to get out the way of the play so they can run. And he doesn't realize that Bobby Petrino is behind him. And he steps on his toe. He steps on Bobby Petrino's toe. Bobby shoves him. And I'm telling you, I haven't heard so many cuss words in a row in my life coming at another coach.
Now that
he almost
situation,
he almost threatened Garrett McGee's job over stepping on his toe. He
that
demanded the best,
man.
even if you were walking backwards.
His toes hurt, man. No, that's a little different. His toes just hurt.
I'm telling you, that man demanded the best, even if you were walking backwards. He didn't care. So there was just a difference. And I want to go into one more thing. I was watching some film today of practice. And I actually posted on Twitter. I want you to go and watch it because you didn't give me a retweet, and I thought it was worth a retweet. They showed practice, the O-line drills. They showed Sam Pittman walking around. And the one thing that I noticed was player demeanor. You know, maybe it's because I was a walk-on. I felt like I had to hustle everywhere. Maybe you didn't. But I felt like back then in the Bobby Petrino days, everybody had to be on the hop, in and out of a drill, up to the line. When I watch that, maybe it's just how bad we are right now. I'm looking for these things. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But watching the guys walk up to the line, hit the drill semi-hard, but then, 10 yards out, just meander on back, head down, cower down. Just, I didn't feel the amount of energy that that practice should be maintaining right now, the level of
Yeah.
intensity for a team that's performing the way it is, an offensive line performing the way it is. And I didn't see anybody yelling at anybody about getting on the hop. That
Yeah.
concerned me. I'm going to be honest with you. Because I
Josh,
would think right now, as a coach, you'd be going, you know what? I've got to be harder than I've ever been on these guys because my job depends on it.
yeah, when you posted that, man, I did see that. That was today. And that's the first thing I thought. You hit the nail right on the head. Just the sense of urgency. You go back to when we played. I don't like comparing everything to one coach, and all coaches are different. But with the state of the program, a sense of urgency needs to be on at all times. And you think when Bobby came, we only won 5 games his first year, beat LSU, not even to make it to a bowl game at the end of the year, that the sense of urgency within practice, I mean, Josh, me and my tight end group, we used to circle up and pray before practice because we knew it was going to be hard. I mean, from drill to drill, station to station, if it wasn't a full sprint sense of urgency, 1,000 miles an hour, bad news was coming. Bad stuff was going to happen. And now what happened is over time, what we thought we hated at first, we just became so used to. And it was in everything that we did was just full speed, full speed, full speed. Because at that point, we weren't talented enough, or we didn't know yet we were talented enough that we could keep up with these guys. So when you have some of the best players in the country, they have the ability to turn the switch on and the switch off, right?
Right.
When Petrino was the coach, the switch was never off. And so we were always ready to go. Games were easy compared to practice. I mean, it was a walk in the park. We couldn't wait to get to game day compared to practice. So I'm glad you pointed that out. Hopefully that does shed some light if they see that. I would love to have practice turned up a notch. And practice should be miserable, but in a good way where they look forward to just getting better each and every day. All right, I know we're long on time. We've been very long-winded, almost 20 minutes in. But we got some special people we want to bring to the show a little bit. Earlier in the week, Josh had a chance to catch up with one of the former Razorbacks running back, Mitchell Bailey, doing big things from Broken Bow, Oklahoma right now. But, talked about somebody with experience when it comes to pass protection in the backfield. Here's Josh with Mitchell.
What's going on, everybody? Josh Throne here with Mitchell Bailey, 2008 running back, fullback, all things, everything from Broken Bow, Oklahoma. Man, how you been doing, brother?
Man, it's been doing good, man. Thanks for having me on with you today.
Man, I appreciate it. DJ was actually talking to me early this week. He said he wanted to make sure that we got you on this week just to talk about some of the running back pass protection that we saw against Texas A&M. I know you didn't have a chance to see the game, but we did send you some film to look at. So I just want to start off with that first play, Mitch. When you take a look at it, you've got Rashad Dominion in the backfield. He takes a fake handoff. And if you watch this particular play we have on the screen right now, he's going to take that handoff. That outside linebacker's crashing down. He meets him at the point of attack after he fakes that handoff. And it seems like he's got him right there, but he still kind of gets bully balled, and the quarterback ends up getting sacked. What did you see on this play?
Well, I saw he got inside contain, which was good. The running back needed to be a little more physical, though. A lot more physical, actually. The main thing with the running back is you only really have about 3 seconds for the quarterback to really get rid of the ball. So you want the guy to break his feet, and which he did there. But if he would have got a little more physical, he could actually ran him out of the play a little bit more. It didn't help that there was a guy busting up through the middle of the line either. So quarterback really didn't have anywhere to go on that one. So that was kind of a rough play.
That's kind of the story of Arkansas football right now. If it's not the offensive line, it's a blitz coming off the edge. It's not getting picked up by the running backs. You make a good point there, though. Dominion does, even though he does get kind of pressed around pretty easily, he does force that outside pressure, which would allow KJ to step up in the pocket. But unfortunately, as you said, he's got somebody called defensive tackle, probably weighing 300 pounds, coming straight down through the middle with nowhere to go. Oh, okay. So let's take a look at this next play, though, because Rocket Sanders is now in the game. And you're going to get some outside pressure off the left edge, and it just seems as though Rocket doesn't see this guy at all. What do you see here? Where's this running back's eyes at as soon as the ball snapped?
Well, I'm not sure on their actual play protection as far as pass protection.
Right.
What I was taught when I was at the University of Arkansas is 1 to 2 going inside out.
Hmm.
My eyes first would go towards the middle linebacker. As soon as I see that he's not taking any steps forward and he's in a stationary position or he takes a step back, my eyes go outside. And that's where that running back eye should have went. He should have filled the gap and not let the defender come to him because that's when you get all the mess. He should have filled the gap, exploded up towards the offensive line, and met that guy on at the line of scrimmage. Instead, he let the defender come to him, and it caused all kinds of chaos, which ended up resulting in a play of a sack.
I've got a question for you. So the snap comes, you step up into pass protection, like you said, working inside out. He sees that linebacker's feet start to drop back into coverage, so immediately he needs to start looking outside. Where's the pressure coming from? Well, he does. Okay, so he's already stepped up into the pocket. He
Mm-hmm.
sees that the middle linebacker's feet are moving backwards. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you have to be reacting pretty quickly to get over there to the edge and cut
Oh,
that
yeah.
angle off in order to push that defensive end towards the outside. I mean, what's going through your head as a running back in a play like that?
Man, just like I was saying, as soon as you see when you've got your first guy, okay, and you're looking at pass protection, if he's staying stationary, you have to immediately your eyes have to be on a swivel going inside to out. And as soon as I start feeling pressure, I'm going to explode up to the line as fast as possible. Get out of the way of the throwing arm of the quarterback. You don't want any broke thumbs, okay?
Right,
Get out of the
right.
way of the quarterback and meet that guy up on the line of scrimmage. That way you can get his feet, shuffling side to side, whatever. And then that creates a little bit more time for the quarterback and allows him to give him a little bit more time for moving around in the pocket if he needs to. This running back in this particular play did not explode to the line of scrimmage, and he did not meet that defender head on, which that caused a lot of chaos, for the quarterback. So
It honestly just seems like he gives this last second whiff with his left elbow and just barely even touches him. Defensive end coming off the edge doesn't get out there quick enough and doesn't force an angle with that guy at all. So you see this a lot right now at the University of Arkansas running backs. Rocket Sanders, I'm actually going to give him a little bit of a break. He's been injured for the majority of the season. He's just coming back. This was his first game back, kind of getting the feel of things again. And you know how it is, especially you come in off
yeah,
of a non-conference teams with the first game of the season, an easy non-conference game, and now you're just stepping in off of an injury, playing Texas
mm-hmm.
A&M and SEC play. But really, the mindset of a running back when it comes to pass protection, because it's not something running backs like to do. It's not typically first nature. But for you, it always was. You always enjoyed contact. What do you have to do mindset wise to be able to take on that role?
Well, it's just like putting a helmet on when you go out to play a game. I mean, it's a light switch. You got to be ready to take on these defenders. Most of these defenders are not light people. I mean, they're anywhere from 215 all the way up to 265, 275, and they're coming fast. So as a running back, I was always considered a bigger back. I played at about 225 roughly. And but how much does this running back weigh? Around the 210 pound range, something like that.
Dominion's roughly 210. Rocket Sanders actually 242, so he's pretty
Okay.
heavy. Yeah,
Well, and saying that they've got all the tools to go up there. They're not 185-pound backs, so
right.
um, you know they just got to be physical, and that's a mindset that you've got to work on pass protection in practice, and just get that light switch turned on and go hit somebody.
Yeah, there's
So
a lot of coaching issues I think that have been going on this season. We're already talking about what's going on with the OC. He's a first year OC that's come in, and he really hasn't quite figured it out this season, to say the least. So, Mitch, I want to say thank you. And before you go, I just want to tell all of our viewers out there, Mitchell Bailey was a freshman from Broken Bow, Oklahoma, when he came into the University of Arkansas as a walk-on. Now, there was a lot of scholarship players that year that turned out to be very, very good. That was a highly touted recruited class, the class of 2008, Bobby Petrino's first year. When Mitchell Bailey got on campus, all the other walk-ons thought he was a scholarship player. He looked like a scholarship player. The guy was ready to play. He ended up starting our freshman year at fullback. Scored a touchdown against South Carolina, and had a heck of a freshman debut, which was awesome to see. What's crazy is you're actually you play a really really important wild part of Arkansas football history, because after you started as a freshman, you ended up transferring to ULM because Bobby Petrino didn't put that scholarship on the table, as he should have. And you go to ULM and you come back your senior year at ULM, and you basically started what turns out to be a 10 or 12 year worst run in Arkansas history, I feel like. Because when you came back as a senior at ULM and beat Arkansas at War Memorial with John L. Smith as the head coach, Arkansas football has never been the same. We're still struggling from that loss. So I think it's kind of funny that we have you on this podcast, knowing that you play that role. You basically sent us on a downhill spiral when you came back, redeemed yourself, and put a whooping on Arkansas in War Memorial Stadium. So I think I always love talking to you about that.
Well, and I hated to leave. I really did. Arkansas football always has a place in my heart. And, all the guys, DJ, all the different guys that I played with, and the coaches with Coach Horton, I made a lot of really good relationships, and it was very sad for me to leave. So I didn't like that part, but that was a good little sweet revenge on, with the big upset. So I think they rate that as like number 2 biggest upset or something like that. But
oh yeah,
anyways.
No, that upset went down in history. And I tell you what, you still got a plaque on the wall in the Arkansas Stadium. So if you ever make your way back here to Fayetteville, you got to go down to the stadium and check out your name on the wall down there, because it's still there. I saw it last time I was in the locker room. So you'd be glad to see that, man. You still left your mark. Brother, I appreciate you joining the show. You're watching For the Five. We're going to kick it back over to me and DJ Williams. Mitchell, we'll see you soon, buddy.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. Y'all keep rocking on, man. Y'all doing good.
All right, there you go, Josh. Once again, I love Mitchell Bailey. That dude, right?
Man,
is he not too. Like one, he knows his football. He's a great player, but one of the nicest dudes on the planet, right? Is he not one of the nicest guys on the planet? Oh. Yeah,
you give that guy $1 million, tell him to hold on to it, you'll come back with $1.1 million, man. I love that guy.
No doubt. Once again, I know it's getting super long. We also want to give a shout out to our friends at Ortho Arkansas, doing a segment with them as well. I know we're tight on time, so we're going to post it a little bit separate, so make sure you look on social media with that. A lot of injuries surrounding the Razorback depth chart right now, and we kind of want to give a background into what those injuries, what comes with them, what's recovery time look like. And we know a lot of high school athletes here in the state of Arkansas looking for options for some, I would say some treatments or some helps, or, dealing with injuries. When I hurt my back in high school, Josh, I was told I was never going to play football again. Went to Ortho. They took care of me.
Yeah. They got state-of-the-art facilities. One of the best places to go.
They said I was never going to play football again. I went to Ortho. They took care of me.
Oh, not the trophy, dude.
I'm just saying.
You can't bring the trophy out.
I wish I could remember that doctor's name who said I wasn't going to play again. It's all good. Ain't nothing to it. All right, y'all. That was a fun week. Here on 4th and 5, we watch a little film. Go down to Oxford. It's a night game in the Grove. I'll be there Saturday with Pig Trail Nation. Can't wait for that. So y'all can tune in Saturday morning at 10 a.m. to catch that, and catch us post-game as well at 10:15 Saturday evening. But yeah, I don't know if y'all been to Oxford.
Hold on. Real quick, when you're down in Oxford, I need you to go to one of the local restaurants down there, and I want to do a little quick little cut in with you. I want you to find something. Maybe go to the Grove. I just want you to call me. Let's get a little FaceTime. I want to see what it's like down there and go live with you about 10 minutes.
I'm going to be in the Grove in the zebra tent. My lady's going to be with me. It'll be a fun little trip. No, it'll be good. I always have a good time. A lady named Jane always hooks us up at the zebra tent, so you'll probably see us live from there. It's always a good time. Right. But anyway, that being said, Hogs got to get stuff together and got to get stuff together quick. We appreciate y'all each and every week tuning in, watching 4th and 5. And always, please like and share this video to all your friends out there, because we want to get this thing growing. And maybe next week we're going to start having some of our viewers be a part of the show as well. Maybe give y'all 10, 15 seconds to rant about what you think the Razorbacks need to do to get this boat turned around. I'm DJ Williams. That's Josh Throne, 4th and 5.